Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel and welcome to day 63 of the 100-Day Project. Now, if you are at all like I was in the beginning, I didn't know what piano roll paper was. I didn't know where to find it. I didn't know what to do with it. And there was no end to what I didn't know. Anyway, I happened to, I bought some through an Etsy shop. In fact, I thought I was buying a roll, which made the price seem very attractive. In fact, and that was, I guess, my fault for not understanding, or I don't know, maybe I never went back to see what the description was. Anyway, long story short, no one that I see is really selling it by the roll, which is what this is and how it looks. And you can see it in all its loveliness. So, and they all come, well, most of them come in boxes as well. So let's just give you an idea of width. I think it's about 11 inches. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 inches, yeah. And I've never, unrolled to find the length. Anyway, long story short, I bought several at an antique show. And so then, of course, that means that I need to start getting rid of them. So I, too, cut some up. I think there are 4 sheets in here, 12 by 11. And so these little things are in my Etsy. So that is the story there. Now, because I have so many rolls, I think that, if somebody wanted to buy an entire roll in a box, I'd be willing to, research what the postage would cost and so on, and consider selling the whole roll. Anyway, I don't want this to sound like a commercial, even though obviously I want to get rid of some of this stuff. But I thought that maybe others are stymied by what to do with it. So because of all the holes, and you saw here just how many holes there are, and of course those holes they're lovely, but they're also a point of weakness. So I thought, okay, how can I sort of hang on to the qualities that make it lovely, but make it a bit stronger in the process? So the first thing I did was, okay, in a recent haul, I ended up with a lot of cardstock. So I thought, well, okay, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, reinforce the piano paper, but also have, these little peekaboo areas with the color coming through. Now, I don't know what this looks like at your end, but to me it is like a deep burgundy, 1 or 2 steps away from turning brown. But so I loved it. So basically I glued it down, and I think this is 3, well, it would be 11 because this is the whole width of the sheet. So, excuse me. So I did that, squared it off, trimmed it, folded it, and then I thought, okay, now what? So you may, I don't know if it's in shot or not, but you may see that I have like a million little birds. And you may think to yourself, well, why is she choosing to decorate with birds? Well, let me tell you. Look at this. So yesterday, of course, when you're maybe procrastinating just a wee bit, you start sorting your fussy cuts and your birds. So these are the gigantic ones that maybe only fit in an art journal. Whoa, bent feather. Then there are ones taken out of, you know, art books. Get your neck in there, little guy. So then I sort of, you know, grabbed some Ziploc bags and tried to group together the ones that are maybe like so, you know. These I cut out of a vintage bird book. So they have a, you know, that's quite a different thing from something that's been fussy cut. I also obviously have quite a few eggs. I have some fake, well, digital bird tea cards. So there's that. Then there are these sort of all black and white ones, and I guess I got them out of another bird black and white bird guide, field guide. There are also some fussy cut heads and so on in it. Then there's some teeny weeny ones. And some of these, whoops, wrong end, are tiny little fussy cuts. And some are ones that I have stamped onto probably file folder. And then these black silhouettes are, I think this was a freebie that Tracy Fox offered at one point. So the teeny tiniest ones are in here. And then there are sort of mid-sized ones. And I didn't sort them by color or anything. Well, not from the beginning anyway. But I did basically pull out, let me get this out of the way because there's probably a lot of glare. I did pull out the blue ones because, of course, there's the blue writing. So anyway, let's get to it. So I did a bunch of prep last night thinking, okay, let's not take too much of the people's time. So basically what I thought, I had this little border from who knows where. And I thought, okay, let us make a tiny little pocket here at the end of or at the bottom of this little folder. I thought those guys were very cute there. The pocket is, you know, fairly shallow. I think it's 1.25 inches. But, you know, this is still visible. This is still visible. And so what I'm going to do is I guess I don't want to trim this till I know for sure. So I'm going to add glue. Ugh. I haven't touched the art glitter glue for a day or two. Okay, I picked it up this way. So I'm gluing this side, this bottom. Whoa, crooked. And this edge. And then whatever is sticking out beyond there. And of course, I'm going to be cognizant of where the fold is so that I don't impede the folding. Yeah, that should be fine. That's how you clean up, with the heel of your hand. Okay, so we'll let that... Oh my goodness. Let me find a wipe. Oh, I do have a page here for gluing on, but did I put it down? No, I didn't. Anyway, I hope that you are well. I wonder if your fussy cut bird pouch is as crazy big as mine. I will trim this excess, and I think I might have to sacrifice one of these little guys' tail, the last guy's tail, because I think you can lose a tail sooner than you can lose a beak. So I have to keep that guy's beak intact. And I don't want that guy's beak falling off the edge. So I'm just going to cut about, okay, that'll be flush. So let's just cut a wee bit off the end here. Smidge more. And how about if it was a little straighter? Is it possible to cut 1/4 of an inch and still go crooked? Yes, it is. You saw that here this morning. Oh, still not quite enough. And you might be thinking, why? Oh, why is she doing that? Well, I want a little precision. Okay, good. Now I will use this art glitter glue again, just because of the odd shape that this is. So I think sometimes, or at least for me, I don't know about anybody else, but it seems like I have to deliberately, like I have to make a conscious effort to say, okay, today it's birds. So then you locate your bird stuff. Excuse me. And that way you actually use some of your bird stuff. Because it's too easy to just reach into, this isn't quite dry, it's too easy just to reach into or reach around you at what is the closest. And if it isn't the thing you want to work on, then that's not going to get you anywhere. Okay, so I did also prep a few other things. Also in that, my bird stuff, I had these tiny little covers from Bird Watchers magazine. So I cut them out, and my plan was to, again, without covering up anything really of significance, to add this to here as a side tuck. So I will do that, and then I'll position those guys on there. Now this is a smidge longer, but again, better longer than shorter. And I'll just glue a hair inside the edge. Ay, ay, ay. Did I? Yes, that's what I wanted to do. In case you were doubting me, that is what I intended to do. Whoa. Now this paper that I'm using is not exactly the same as the cardstock. And it's more like, it's not construction paper, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of a nice weight, I thought, because of course we're always cognizant of, are we adding weight and bulk and thickness to what we're doing. So trying to avoid that. Okay, so I won't try sticking anything in there just yet, but let's see how these best look. I could offset them. I suppose if I could try centering them. I could butt them up. For a moment there, forgive me for the craziness, I was thinking, like, this is heavy enough that it could be, do I want to do that? Just make it a little tiny tuck? 3 little tucks? What the heck? Let's live on the edge. Okay, but where am I putting them? Okay, I think what I'm going to do, I'll pick a position, whoops, from the bottom and from the side. Then I'll do the same at the top, and then we'll let the guy in the middle split the difference. Aye. So that's roughly a oh, brother. Okay, roughly a quarter of an inch from the bottom. So I think the blue jay will be in the middle. So that means I'm using this guy. I guess I don't need as much glue. It's not. Okay, quarter of an inch from the top and about a 16th. No, 1/8. And it's got glitter glue, so wherever it lands is where it stays. There will be so much loveliness that nobody will be able to see if, in fact, it's even. You know, that's, you know, as we get older, we kind of get used to some of the changes in our ability, in our bodies, in our whatever. We kind of start getting used to, not totally accepting, but getting used to the changes. But honestly, one of the things that I miss the most is my ability to see things that are level and straight, and like I used to be a whiz kid at that. Okay, so we'll let those guys, where's my cover? We will let those guys, you know, kind of stay there momentarily. One of the things that I thought would look cute in this pocket, it introduces a bit of color. I mean, there's the vibrant blue. And I thought, well, why can't this just be as it is? Clearly I cut this from something. It's not very weak. I mean, it's a decent thickness. So I can put this here. You can still very clearly see, you know, the writing and whatever. And then for this side, I thought we would make a tag. So let's put this aside for the time being. Oh, and the other thing that I have on the side here, when I took apart, this is one of, I would say this is probably, well, this is definitely a field guide. So, of course, I must have fussy cut the birds. And then I thought, well, okay, there are all of these colored bands with the type of bird it is, you know, so for ease of finding it in the guide, plus the actual bird names. And, you know, of course, there's a place for, oh, here's this. This is cute, too. This is from the back of the guide. Now, I guess I can't afford really to care if the words match the actual bird. And of course, if I would have thought about it ahead of time, I should have sorted these by color. So I can either, well, maybe I'll do, just to, rather than make it seem like, oh, she identified those birds. Maybe what I'll do instead is pick several. Okay, why am I mixing the purple and the brown? Okay, I'll just do this really quickly. You'll hardly even notice that I'm taking the time to do it. So I will sort of put on a short list the ones that kind of go with what I'm trying to do here. Let's get rid of those. So you can see that what I'm doing is I'm kind of, well, maybe the purple isn't so great. So kind of the burgundy or the brown. and the blue will be the contenders. Oh, there's another type of brown there. So again, you know, is this necessary? No, it is not. Is it a sign of being somewhat anal? Probably. Never tried to deny it. But again, it's one of those things. See, these guys would make cute little belly bands. Oh. Okay, purple we said is no good. Okay, so out of all of those, there must be something appropriate. Okay, so what I was trying to say while I was talking and chewing gum was if I include several of the names, then it won't be like, oh, she thought she was actually identifying one of the birds in the thing here, but in fact it's wrong. But if there are several of them, then it's clear that it's a design element. It is not a bird identification fact. Okay, so we will leave these guys here for the time being. We'll put this aside. And we'll work a bit on a card. So what I have, again, I was going to look, and then I'm thinking, why don't I just use what is within reach? So these are, and I must have cut them this size and shape. These are pages out of a Somerset, one of those books, you know, where they include, Stampington and Company, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of went through them and picked ones that I thought would kind of work with. And I think the one I like these two. I'll put these aside, although let me just confirm that if I use this, it will fit in the pocket. Just a tight squeeze. Okay, so maybe I should trim, mind you. Okay, I'm going to use that one just for the sake of moving on. You have no idea what is just outside the range of this camera of mine. And it's probably a good thing. Although if you're anything like most crafters, then you've probably seen it firsthand in your very own space. Okay, so I'm putting this aside. I'm working on this card. And I'll probably round the corners in the end just to maybe it'd be easier to see if I put my glue thing off to the side. I'm going to, let me do that right off the bat. I'm going to round the corners because I think that sort of helps, you know, getting in and out less. You don't have that sharp thing to catch on something. Do I like it better this way? Yeah, I think I like it better this way. So I have this spare piece of piano paper, so I wanted to use that on here as well. Now, of course, less of this will be less obvious than something against, say, a brown background. But basically, I'm just going to, you know, use some book pages here that, again, are within reach. I also have, and if you've watched other videos, you may recognize some of these other bits and pieces that are here. This is something I cut off one of my digitals. Now I'd have to trim that. You probably saw me use this and this. So these things are all sort of, I'm thinking, well, where am I going to go to find something? It's all right here. So these are sort of the things that are in the running. So let me begin probably just with a bit of, I could use this music. Let me use one of these darker. Okay. I don't want to. I'll go against my normal wanting to do this on the left-hand side, and I'll go right hand. So I'm just going to, and because I want that, I was going to say because I want that brownish part to show, but I can't afford that space. So I think I will just, I'll put the glue straight on here. And then see what extent, I don't know, can you see what I'm doing? Yes, you can. Okay, maybe so that I can know exactly what I'm doing, I should trim this right now. It just helps kind of with the proportions when you know where the actual end is. I have been kind of on the go a lot lately, running here and there for parts or repairs for, you know, the farming operation, hitting greenhouses and garden centers when I'm, you know, near one. And, of course, taking care of these things in the sun and the wind has been a bit of a challenge. I had to resuscitate some plants and bring them back from the dead. And luckily that worked. Now let's not forget that this is what I really wanted to use here. So maybe what I'll do is just the darkest part of this. So then I realized, oh, all of these, because I don't have like an in-ground garden, I just have those raised beds that Costco used to sell, probably still does. You know, they're about 4 feet long. They're at a height where you can work at them and not get a backache. And so I have 5 of those sort of around the perimeter of the patio. And a 6th one that is metal and shallower. And I don't know if I said this already in another video, but what I found after some crop failures is that I probably need to just quickly trim that edge because I don't think I can tear anything that narrow. What I found is that that metal one was, well, I'm going to say all of them were a little too shallow to grow a decent root crop like carrots or beets. Absolute crop failure with beets. And, you know, for Ukrainians, that's kind of important because, of course, borscht and diced beets and, you know, just who doesn't love beets, eh? Although I guess there are people that don't. Some people I've heard say, well, it tastes like dirt. And you got a problem with that. Oh, dear. I love beets. You just have to remember, like when you use the toilet after having eaten beets, you just have to remember that you ate beets right previously, and you're not, in fact, needing to get to a doctor and find out. Anyway, maybe I didn't need to go there with you. Anyway, so I'm not even bothering to try to grow any carrots or anything, because, like, what's the point? You know, you buy the seed, you take care of it, and then you end up with these runty little things. So anyway, I managed to get, then I realized, that's what I started to say. I realized that, all of these things need their soil topped up, you know, just to, number one, give a little more growing space, but, you know, there's settling that occurs. How am I going to use this? Well, let me glue this music thing down. So yesterday, I was in a neighboring town doing some farm-related stuff and figured, let me get some soil. So I ended up, and you know, it's almost like manufacturers, well, I guess sometimes it feels like they do this stuff on purpose. They make these different sized packaging so that you can't easily compare which is the best deal. So what does it cost per liter if you buy a 32-liter bag versus a 50-liter bag? And why are there so damn many varieties of soil? And why is this one double the price of that one? And, you know, on and on, wondering what is the answer to these things? So I ended up buying 12 50-liter bags. So let me tell you, that filled the car up, and sat it down with the weight. And anyway, a woman loaded the vehicle, and those bags are heavy when they're full, and yet 12 of them. So she made it work, but I don't think it was, well, I suppose if you do that all day long, you develop the strength and the ability to do it without hurting yourself. I think I'm going to, see, the thing is, I don't know how this looks to you, but I need some contrast here. Otherwise, this is going to be lost on this thing. So let me carry on. One of the things that I have within reach here, but that's sort of a color that I haven't been using up until now. Look at these beautiful blue threads. Can't I work this in some way? Okay, maybe what I should do, if I'm trying to highlight let's put this over here for the time being. Let me select my bird. Now it's going to go in that way. Do we want this blue jay that is going to be facing in? Don't really want a bird facing into the pocket, so that's going to eliminate a bunch of these guys. This is too wide. Those are very cute, but they're too wide. These brownish guys, or this one I stamped, are all facing the wrong direction. That is a possibility. These guys are too small. I'll let that be in the semifinals. Wrong way, wrong way, wrong way. This guy is too bland, I would say. Yeah. Wrong way, right way, too small. Okay, well, that made short work of that list, or that selection. This guy's facing the wrong way, so it's between basically these guys. And I almost think it needs to be this guy, just because he's got the most presence. Although that's not too bad, I guess. This guy doesn't carry the day, even though he is darker. Now, if I wanted to use... that could be nice there. But let's not forget the goal here, and that was to use so even though by making that the sort of one of the closer to the top layers, I mean, that's a higher contrast, but I still think I better, let's just make a decision, Hazel. Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to put down some of this sheer thing with the script on it. I'm going to then, okay, this piece is too small. Okay, I'm going to use this. So let's get on with it. Let's, I'm just going to put the glue on the card. Fairly thick so that it grabs that sheer. Oh, and I'm going to have to back the back of that because it's got some writing on it. But you don't need to watch me do that. Oh, yeah, let me pull this up a bit and then you can see that it's an extra layer. So I should have done that. Where's my little fabric? So I didn't really need to gob it right up to the end. Okay, cover this up. This guy's going to go here. Do I have any ink within reach? What would be nice there is my blueprint sketch. Yes, I've got it. Okay, there's a blue dauber. Okay, let me quickly do this. Give them a little contrast on the page. Okay, so what did I say? I was going to put this here. And you can see this has had a fold in it for who knows how long. I don't know if I should, why don't I just rip this and make it that edge a little more interesting. I can also put it this way. This is a bit of a squeeze here to get this guy on. I'll just angle him a bit. We'll pretend the branch goes that way. And he had to be at that angle. Yeah, so I like that. The few numbers show. I'm just wondering, I don't really like doing this. Okay, this blue is wrong. So we will eliminate, add that to the reject pile. Let's find something. It's not a chipping, it's not sparrow. I said I would have to use Gray Jay. See, under the jays and crows, maybe I could have found the proper. Oh my goodness, sorry guys. See, this is how it really goes in a craft room. So I'm just looking quickly to see if I have any more, like on the back side of these jays and crows. Doesn't look like it. I suppose the other thing I could do is just use the words. I don't know about that. Now I feel like if it's just on this one tag with this one bird, that it should be the right one. Let's see if where's my, that's Rusty Hinge. That might be okay. I can't seem to see the, in this chaos, I cannot see I can't see vintage photo. So let's use Rusty Hinge just for the heck of it. Just because we can. Again, just a light little thing so it stands out just a smidge. And you can maybe tell by how I'm handling this just how fragile this paper is when it's just on its own. Just want to just give a hint. Oh, it's more than a hint. Of color there. Maybe I like that better. It feels more like it should be like so. Okay, I'm going to glue this down. And probably just to avoid glue coming out of every orifice, I will just use our glitter glue quick like. Again, it's not because this is heavy duty paper or anything. Come on. Don't fail me now. Okay, how did I say I was going to do it? Like so? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's not heavy-duty paper, so it certainly doesn't need... not doing this because of difficulty holding it down. It's just to avoid glue oozing out of, like if I would have used the glue stick. And again, these little stray threads here are kind of cool. I hope that's more or less where I wanted to put it. Yeah, the numbers show. I'll just quickly do this as well with art glitter glue. If you weren't here, I would be using a glue stick. So, I don't know, did I finish saying? Oh, I was talking about what I've been doing. So, yeah, running around like a chicken without a head, like a blue jay without a head, buying soil, trying to keep all the bedding plants and perennials alive. Like last year, we had concrete curbing done, but, you know, that was done kind of before freeze up. So there wasn't really time to do anything more, like landscape fabric and mulch. So that is something that has to happen fairly soon, because I've got these perennials that want to use this somehow. Wouldn't it have been good to put this underneath the bird? Maybe it'll be underneath a sentiment or a label or something. Just pulling a few strands out. It almost looks like this could have been... Can we pretend it was part of fibers out of a nest? Or do we want it up here to bring some blue up this way? Maybe that's more believable. Mind you, it does sort of cover that, but that's okay. Is this going to do the trick? Where's the little... Did you grab something to... And again, I'm not showing you anything here that you haven't seen a million times or couldn't figure out on your own. I guess it's just the whole purpose here was, you know, as a reminder to me and to you, you know, maybe sometimes move out of your comfort zone. If you always are reaching for, if you're always doing grunge and you're always reaching for flowers or butterflies or bees or whatever your favorite thing is, maybe give the birds some love. Or, you know, kitchen images or gothic stuff or whatever, you know, as well as, you know, ways of making the piano paper maybe a little less fragile, a little more you know, show off its qualities and its uniqueness without making it too vulnerable to tearing and whatever, because of the nature of how it's made. Okay, I will let that settle down and dry a bit, and I'll show you the third thing that I had kind of in mind. Now, another thing I could do that would make it look kind of connected and like script that's unreadable is just use, you know, a bit of this. Again, this could be, where is the bigger piece? This could be, you know, suppose I cut out the word J. Where was that, guys? Did you see it? Where did it go? Where did it go? Right there. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, so what I would do is I could that's probably too wide because I'm going to end up just, okay, I don't want to ruin everything here, so I'm just going to take that one little word, and it is little. Maybe we can take some of that Latin. Now, of course, that's so white. I wonder where the heck I put my vintage. Oh, right there. Jeez. I start stacking stuff up because I'm running out of. Just going to give this a little. Bring the white. Knock the white back and bring it closer to what we're actually using in this on this card. Okay, so if I see, and again, these little wispy things make it look as though, you know, this is something she collected for her nest. Okay, that has a natural not natural, but I mean a forced crease in it. Whoops. So stringy. I'm going to let that kind of fold in on itself because that's what it wants to do anyway. I've been fighting it. I will add, again, you know what I could do? Let me just, I guess I don't have to cover that up for that millisecond. If I go over some of these little, would have been good to do that before I glued it down, eh? Eh? Some people think Canadians say "eh" all the time. Okay, yes, that now will show a little more. So I'm just going to add a bit of a little puddle of glue here. I'm going to let this go here and this go here. I can drag it over a bit. Perhaps. Oh, goodness. Put a smidge there and a smidge there. And you can see that this is fraying before your very eyes. Now, if a person takes the time to look at this with a little bit of, you know, to capture the detail and sort of, well, what did she do here? Then that piano paper will still be visible. And as we know, it won't it also, if it isn't, it also won't be the first time that we've used something and covered it up with something else. I don't know why this doesn't want to catch here. Now, is this little word going to be a bit lost there? I guess another way to make that stay down is to put this right here. Seems a bit lost though, doesn't it? It feels... See, you know, and despite a YouTuber's best efforts to have everything ready, you don't know what you need till you need it. Let's see this. Okay, since that thing doesn't want to lie down, let me put this tag. And again, there's nothing that says this can't be vertical. Tuck this under there. Put a dab of glue on here. Again, it's still, you know, there's so few, this is such a loose weave. There's so few fibers, like you can practically count the threads that can actually be glued and make contact. If it's stuck half as well to the paper as it does to my fingers, where is that wipe? Anyway, how many times did I start the story about the flower beds? So I did as much as I could yesterday. I dragged out some pots that we also, when we did all the concrete work and the curbing and all that, we also did a pad for a gazebo, concrete pad for a gazebo. And I've only wanted one since our 25th anniversary. But hey, wait 25 years and you get it. Anyway, so I pulled out some planters that have never been used. I also have a set of 3 copper / green / bluey cranes. Would they be storks? Storks? Anyway, these lovely metal sculptures, these birds. And copper goes with kind of what I'm doing out there. So, you know, things are starting to come together. But then it got so damn cold last night. Like, thank God there was no frost, because I'm thinking, boy, if I have to start finding old bed sheets and things, you know, to cover all these things up, I'm not going to be impressed. See, I think that is starting to look pretty good. So I just took a chance. Hey, this could be... Oh, but I'll do that later because this still needs to be backed. I could make some kind of you know, a doohickey there at the top. But again, I don't want to... See, that's going to look cool. Because there's so much space to the fold, I don't have to tuck it in that far either. So what I'll probably end up doing here, well, there's no point in doing that until I back it. So I'm going to, okay, this will be the plan. I'm going to back this. I'm going to use Rusty Hinge around the edge. It'll tie in with this over here. I will probably use this or maybe this to make a little pull tabby thing. And it will be a thing of beauty. Now, obviously, front and back is still just the cardstock. So what might I do there? Who knows? I guess it would be good to continue decorating with a bird theme, and this could be something that either can, how wide is this? 5.5. So it's almost like this has to be a signature or something, like a signature page. It could be sewn in here. Yeah, so I'll have to decorate front and back in some way. But let me show the final thing. Now, again, unless you were to score an actual roll of piano paper, chances are you will not get this thing. Like this was the, they all have this as a way, I guess, to, I don't know, they probably hooked it onto something. So I thought, and the reason it's this shape to begin with is because one of these rolls had some water damage. So I thought, well, okay, I want to preserve this. I want these things to tie together. So I basically cut a piece of that same paper, you know, try to get it as even as I could. Now what I'm going to do is glue this around. But I thought, okay, if people lift this up, they better see something underneath. So I got some of this paper that is really quite old, and it's kind of beautiful, and I've kind of been hoarding it. So I just, like it was a teacher's guide to something or other, like a class resource sort of. So kept the little perforated holes. Now I just don't know probably what I'll do. Okay, just to move things along here. I think what I'll do is just sort of line these guys up as well as I can, considering that they're different sizes, and I wanted the perforations to be kind of visible. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. I will, here's my little tiny guy. I'll staple it right to the edge here. And that way, when I use that little floppy thing, it will help enclose it, and it will help disguise the staples. Is this empty? Well, that's a fine how do you do. Let me reach for, whoops, I hope I don't hit anything. I'll just use this in 2 places. Now I'll glue that on. I should probably work it from the front side and then attach the back. So I'll try to, I want that centered as much as possible. Yeah, I guess this is a job for art glitter glue. At least want those staples covered. A little bit of a bulge there. But I guess that's the only way to make this work. Now, unfortunately, because the piano paper is so thin, it almost wants to tear through there. Okay, let's attach the back. What I should have done, where's my little screwdriver? Let me just see if I can flatten these a bit. Doesn't seem like it's doing much. It's just wobbling instead of... Oh, well, I guess even if it's like that, that's better than sticking up. Okay, so we'll add, I hope you can see, we will add this. And again, I think that this would probably be attached to a page, you know, because so it is 4, 5, oh, yeah, well, it would fit in most journals, unless they're smaller than normal. Okay. So, did I not? You see, that irks me. Yeah, okay, that's better. And I just love these guys on here because I don't want to cover this and this up as much as possible. So I thought I would just, you know, obviously some of that will be, or a lot of that will be covered up. But if I do it like so, I mean, I'll cut the part that extends past, like the branches, and I'll let his little tail stay. And now, oh, did I think ahead to what might be put across the top there? I don't think I want to use any of the, no, too white, too shiny, too everything. Because those staples are sort of visible there. Oh, one thing I just noticed that I have to get rid of. Ugh. Is this little white thing here. Just, sometimes I don't understand why this, like there's a swivel almost kind of feel to this in some ways, but yet it also kind of seems to unscrew to the point where the blade can come out, so. Okay, now what is this here? I should probably get rid of that as well. Not because anyone would notice, but because it's nice to have those little peekaboo places where the background is showing through. Okay, I don't even know what time it is or how long we've been at this. Okay, I think I'm going to do it that way. His little tail will extend past there, but that will lift up. So, do I want, this time before the fact rather than after, do I want to add a few of these fibers underneath there? This is thicker paper, so, and I don't know where it came from, to be honest. If it was a digital and I printed it that way and then fussy cut it, or... But if I put some of this thread down, this is heavy enough that it's not going to you know, it's not going to be an issue where you can see the strings coming through the... To be honest, I don't know if I care for that. I guess it adds, so. And besides, you know I love gluing things down one string at a time. Not. Is that enough? I also have, but then this is a bit thicker. Oh, I could maybe rip some of these threads off. This really won't show much against there, but I guess the contrast may be a bit nice. Sorry this is taking so long. But if you've ever putzed around with your project, you totally understand. You totally understand. Okay. For better or worse, that's what I'm doing. And I think in this case, maybe I'll try glue for the most of it. That's not very good English. I'll try glue for the bigger area off it. And then I'll just, you know, a dab here and there where I need to. And then, of course, in this case, those birds will help hold it all down. Okay, that's my positioning. I will not go all the way to the end because I know I have to trim. I have to do some pruning. Yeah, so we still have a heck of a lot of work outside, but I think now, you know, in our old age, we have the smarts and maybe the means to make some of this, like spend a little more up front, make it kind of maintenance, lower maintenance, or I don't want to say maintenance free because there's no such thing, but sort of, you know, reduce the amount of physical labor and work that it's going to take to upkeep this this stuff in the yard. And you know, in the beginning when we first moved here, that would be about 30, maybe 38 years or so ago, we had more energy and more energy and ideas than we had money. So, you know, you do some of the dumb stuff that only the young would think of doing. Like, it's kind of a shame that these artsy ends have to go, but you do, you know, like when I think about how many areas I spaded up the hard way, like with, you know, with a spade and a wheelbarrow, to create flower beds that never existed before. Okay, so I'm just going to touch this here and there to secure some of these unwieldy threads. And if I put all of this under my cutting mat here soon, then, like after the video, then that will help, hopefully, some of this secure itself a little more. Yeah, so anyway, I spaded up all those flower beds, and then after a while you realize, oh, hell, that is so much work. And again, maybe those of you that live in town or have, 2 flower beds are wondering, well, what the heck is she complaining about? Well, on a farm size scale, it's not like doing a 50-foot lot in town, so. And then I have many interests other than, like, I'd rather craft than garden at this point. So I just want it to be, I want it to be nice, but I also want, I want to work smarter, not harder. I guess that's the gist of what I'm trying to say. And I understand that it does take some money to make that happen. Because, like I spent just on that soil, that was over $130. So everything, the inflation and all the stuff that is hurting everyone has made its way into the world of bedding plants and greenhouses and garden centers. So I don't know, I might just leave that. Because I do still want to come up with something to cover this top area. Would that look? I guess that's okay. It's sufficiently ratty looking that, so I can just have it, I just need it as long as the actual paper. So I'd better trim it beforehand. Yeah, and if it catches those loose threads there, then boy. Did you see how crooked I cut that? Mind you, maybe if I fray it, it will look, because a clean cut edge would look a little funny. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Okay. Maybe this is a job for, whoops. Maybe this is a job for Fabri-Tac. So I'll just put it on this piano paper, and that way I know that I won't accidentally be getting some on the brown paper at the back. Okay, I don't know if that's the way I wanted it, but that's the way it's going to be. Yes, this definitely looks like it came out of a nest. Oh, I love that. Voila. Oh, look. Now, looks like I need a little dabble, do you here? Do you remember that slogan from, was it Brylcreem or something? A little dabble, do you? We are a family of 3 girls, so there was no Brylcreem at our house growing up. And again, it doesn't have to make, 100% contact. I just don't want it catching on things. But if it's not perfectly glued down, that I think is desirable because it creates a little shadow there. I love it. Now, I suppose when this finally gets into a journal, it would be, the possibility exists to punch through that part underneath and attach something there if there is space. So, but we're not going to worry about that. So yeah, this is a day's work. I am so pleased with these. So there are going to be more birds surfacing, I think, in my future. Anyway, don't know what the deal is here, time-wise, but yeah, I love it. And again, that was showing you some ways to use piano paper. Now, I wish I would have, if I would have thrown that little branch away, I wouldn't keep having it interfere with me here. Anyway, I think that in hindsight now, I wish I would have inked around those birds, but I suppose, where is my, I've got everything in the kitchen, including the kitchen sink here. Oh, I put it back in the, I can probably do that. I didn't dip it in the ink pad, but the reason I'm getting away with this is because it's a darker color behind there. Whoops, lifted his little old beak. Yeah, that looks more like it matches now. Just quickly do this too. I shouldn't be doing this with you guys watching. Anyway, yeah, I love how this turned out. I think I already said that. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I will be here again tomorrow, and I hope you will be too. Thanks. Go craft something. Go plant something. Go be creative. Thanks. Bye.